For today's recipe, we'll be preparing a Bison NY Strip. Very simple, very easy to make, and within 3 to 4 minutes you can have a great meal on your plate. So, first thing, our Bison strip loin. I like steak spice a lot. It basically incorporates all of the flavors that I want without really messing up. And depending on how you like your meat, you want to adjust the heat in your pan. I personally like to eat my meat rare to medium rare, and I will start on maximum heat and I will go down to medium high. However, if you're more one who likes to eat your meats well done or even medium well, your best bet is to preheat your oven at 400 degrees to start your sear in the pan and finish your meat in the oven. This will allow your meat not to burn and still get the cooking temperature that you're looking for. You really want to have a smoking pan, and don't worry, the burning temperature of olive oil, which I'm using, is much higher than vegetable oil. This sear that you hear is very important. Again, you don't want your meat to boil, but you want your meat to sear to capture all of those flavors. Once I put it in, I want to bring down my heat to medium high. While I'm doing that, I can choose to cut my portobello mushrooms. Portobello mushrooms are great. Steak and portobello mushrooms like fish in water. And you want to cut them not too thin, but not too thick. You see the thickness that we're looking for? And for a rare, you're looking at about 123 to 128 degrees Fahrenheit, which represents approximately 2 to 2.5 minutes on each side. Again, once your meat is in, don't move your meat around. That will cause it to bleed and to boil. So you really want to keep the sear on. Now the portobello mushrooms are a bit like the steak. Mushrooms are 97% water. Once again, when we will sear them, we will put them in like we put the steak, but we're not going to move them around. We're going to let them sear on each side, keeping their moisture in. I'm going to look at our color, and it's perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to let my meat rest. I'm going to use my same pan to put in my portobello mushrooms. Again, once you put them in, just let them sit. Don't move them around because all the water content of your mushroom will dissipate, and again, it will boil instead of searing. So you really want to get that crisp the same way you had on your steaks. You want to add a little bit of butter. Some chopped garlic. Garlic and mushrooms go so well together. Get really those flavors. Because there was seasoning on the steak, and the seasoning is still within the sugars in the pan, I don't need to season my mushrooms. You don't want to overcook your mushrooms. And as soon as you see that your garlic is becoming like a hazelnut color, you know that they're done. Take them off the stove. And by this time, my meat has rested, and now it's time to plate. So there are really two ways you can serve this. I like to eat my steak whole, straight out. And you can also choose to slice your steak and serve it as an éventail. So when you do slice your steak, you want to cut against the grain. Cutting a meat against the grain will keep its meat juicy and tender. You want to use, and be careful with your hands, and look at that color. I eat my meat blue to rare. It's a question of personal taste. We can take our portobello mushrooms. They smell so good. Some fresh microgreens. These are great to have year-round. Et voila, New York steak and portobello mushrooms.